Hi guys, Kristen Smith here, and I'm going to be doing a review of episode 1 of The Punisher on Netflix. Now, I'm not a collector of these comics, but I am a fan of the character. I saw the movies, have read a few of the storylines, and I did really enjoy him in Daredevil Season 2. Honestly, he was kind of my favorite part of Daredevil Season 2, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they show this character in his own series. Now, Joe Bernthal does such a great job playing Frank Castle. He embraces this character in a way that I don't know that I expected. Because it is such a hard character to play. He's not your typical hero. I mean, he's not a hero at all. He's an anti-hero. And because he lives in this world of, blacks and whites where you're either good or you're bad, there's no gray area. He's really hard to portray on film. And he basically he's a protector. He wants to fight to protect the people who he believes are innocent, and he will do basically anything within his power to seek vengeance on the people who do wrong. And this is an important character to have on film, I think, because you need to show that there is a huge distinction between, justice, which you would assume most superheroes fight for, and vengeance, which is not good. Like, there is a big difference between justice and vengeance. Justice is usually done with means that are justifiable, and vengeance is not. And that's exactly where the Punisher lies. He's doing this stuff with the intent of doing good, but with means that are not. And the way that they put this character on film creates a very strange bond between the character and the viewer, because you know that he's doing things that aren't correct, but at the same time he is a very sympathetic character, and you know they make him likable and distasteful at the same time. And they do it in such a good way. It feels very natural. It does not feel at all forced. I am completely in love with this character. I think they're doing a fantastic job with him. And so far, just within the first episode, I love where they're taking this. They have not shied away from the brutality of the Punisher story at all. And they've also done it in a way that feels, like I said, natural. I don't feel at all like I'm just watching some, shoot 'em up movie. I feel like I'm watching a show about this man going through some very serious issues. They've also done something that I think is really important by making him a character that you sympathize with but never want to become, because he is completely unstable. He's a man who is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and is one basically breath away from completely snapping and going crazy. So the other characters in this show so far, I don't want to say that I don't like, but maybe they're just not developed enough for me. The first one, and I don't know that he's going to be recurring, is this Donnie kid who, oh, Donnie, what can you say about Donnie? He's not my favorite character. I know what they were doing with him. He's a naive character. He's young. He's in it with the wrong crowd. He's searching for approval. He's desperate to get medicine for his grandma, and he will do anything within, that he can to get money so that he can take care of his family. He's a little stupid. Like, I just, I know what they were doing with the character. I wanted to like the character, but he was not done in a way that made me at all connected with him. And so when he was going through some of the stuff later on, I just was not. I just was not connected. I did not feel any tension. I did not feel like, oh, I hope he makes it through this. Like, just not my favorite character ever put on screen. And he did some things that I might talk about later in the review that are just really big pet peeves of mine, and I know why they did it, but at the same time, like, please stop. The other side character is this female cop. I think we'll talk about crime drama in superheroes in a few seconds. I do want to congratulate Netflix because they do such a great job of casting minority females in important roles. without it feeling like they're just putting them in there to be inclusive. They feel like they're natural to the story. They feel like they're involved in what's happening. However, the character hasn't really been developed enough for me to care about her yet. I do think that there are seeds so far in the show that can make her an interesting character, and there's also a nice parallel with who she is and who Frank is. And so once they meet, I think that their interaction could be very interesting. And I like that they set up that there's more beneath her surface than just a tough as nails cop who, is dealing with all these men, and the fact that she's a woman in power. That's a hard place to be in, but we've seen it already. And they go a little bit further than that, but not enough to give away her full character. I'm looking forward to seeing what they develop in her character, and I'm hoping that it is something that makes her stand out from the crowd, because the crime drama aspect of this is kind of my favorite part of the story so far, because it's something that we've seen already in the Marvel Netflix universe, and definitely something that we've seen in comic book hero stories on television. Like, I'm so sick of crime drama in comic book stories. Like, I know you have to have some level of police involvement in these shows because there's no way to get around it, but like, I think that they're just overplaying it a little bit, and I hope that it does stand out, because I'd hate for that to be something that brings the show down, because there is so much going for it right now. But that's my only big concern so far with the show. Everything else I think works incredibly well. We'll get to the action, because I think that's why a lot of people are watching this show in the first place. You can't have the Punisher without brutal, intense, savage action. It's just who the character is. And they do wonderfully at making it both really visually cool, but also completely uncomfortable. And I'm not a squeamish person. I thought that the way that they filmed some of these action scenes was really interesting, because there was some humor involved in some of the earlier ones. Some of the stuff was just really impressive to see the way that they did it, and then also the uncomfortability comes in. The sledgehammer scene, like, when he broke the dude's leg, I legitimately just wanted to curl up in a ball and cry. Like, I am not a fan of watching limbs be broken in any respect, and it looked very real. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched a leg just, like, snap, but I have, and that looked pretty real. Uh, which is impressive. Honestly, I think that this is some of the most impressive action that the Marvel Netflix series have had so far. And I know there's been a lot of criticism of some of the other Netflix series being a little bit, maybe not realistic, but like Iron Fist. People have a lot of problems with the action in that show. People had some problems with the Defenders and the action in that show. I think this does it right, and I think it fits with the character, and it stays true to who he is. The pacing of these action scenes is also really good, because you go from the beginning, where you're showing where the Punisher was, to where he is now, and it sets up the show and gives you a taste of what the show is going to be like. And then the end, you have two big action sequences back to back very quickly. There's barely a transition between the two. And I think that's important, because it's a visual way of showing that once Frank starts, he cannot be stopped. I mean, he goes from this scene where he's, basically killing people with this sledgehammer, to immediately going and within seconds killing an entire room full of people. And he does this quickly and without mercy and without thought. And it's a great way of showing who the character is, and getting us to understand where he can go later. And he embraces, this darkness so quickly, and it's really kind of scary how fast he goes from working through his issues to just completely snapped. I am really interested to see where they go with his character in the next episodes, because it could he could try and pull back, or he could go completely crazy and just embrace this darkness and right away become the Punisher that everyone knows. Uh, I'm not so sure which way they're going to go. There are 13 episodes, so I'm feeling that they're going to stretch out this character arc a lot more than just having him go immediately into this darkness. But I'm kind of hoping that we get to see a lot more of that develop in the show as well. Uh, for some of my really tiny nitpicks, this is something that's a big pet peeve of mine, but I'm real sick of watching people put guns down their pants. Like, that is not proper gun safety handling. Like, please don't put guns down your pants. You're asking to get your penis shot off, Donnie. Donnie, please, if you ever hold a gun again, do not put it down the front of your pants. Like, ugh. At least if you put it down the back of your pants, you only get shot in your butt. Like, I guess we won't go there, but I know what they were doing. I know that they were showing his inexperience with the situation, but it is a pet peeve of mine, and whenever I see someone do it, I just want to throw things at my television. The other thing is a little bit more of like a real life pet peeve, and this construction site that they're on isn't quite up to code. Like, they aren't wearing safety vests. They're walking behind like equipment while it's running, which is a huge no-no. And I think there were some other things that I saw that I was just like, ooh, this would not happen in real life. I suppose we should just be thankful that they're wearing hard hats pretty much the entire time they're on the site. But then at the same time, like, Frank would never be allowed to be working on a construction site without a direct supervisor present at, like, in the middle of the night by himself. Would not happen. Would not happen. Would not pass go. Would not pass government inspection. Like, but yeah, that's definitely a nitpick. Outside, I have to find something to complain about. Like, this show was really good so far, so there's just little things. Overall, I really did love this. I think they're doing a good job with the character. I think they're doing an excellent job developing his story in an interesting way. And I also love the way that they're tying in his PTSD and helping you understand how it impacts his character, because that's directly applicable to life. Because it's important to show what veterans are going through, what people who've dealt with traumatic experiences are dealing with, and how they view the world, because you honestly do not know how many people in this world suffer from anxiety or post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a lot of people, and a lot of people have to go through life looking at it in a different way, and I think it's just really nice to see that shows are coming out that will show how people deal with this in a way that doesn't make it so obvious that they're doing it. Like, it's not a PSA, but you are learning a lot about the disorder. With that being said, I loved the show. I'd probably give it so far an 8.5 out of 10, just because I think there is a lot more development that needs to happen before I'm in it with some of these side characters. I would give the Punisher himself like a 10. I think he's perfect. What did you all think? Did you like the show as much as I did? Are you sick of watching people stick guns down their pants? Put them in the comments down below. Let me know all of your thoughts. Other than that, you can check out the rest of my reviews. I'm hoping to have the rest of the show done and reviewed by the end of the weekend, and you can check them out on this channel as they come out. Other than that, you can watch my most recent trailer review right over here, and you can subscribe right over here. And thanks all for watching. You all take care.